Let's talk gutters, more specifically keeping leaves out of gutters, and I'm talking both mine and my father's, especially my father's. He has the most annoying gutters possible, poorly installed. The internal hangers kind of tilt down. They literally grab wet leaves and they keep them there. We don't let him on the roof anymore, so I'm the one that has to clean them multiple times a season. So about 5 years ago, I purchased one of those small foam wedges that they sell at Home Depot. I've heard many people say these don't work, but I was desperate, so I thought this one section a good test for it. Now, muck does mat up on the top. I have to clean it off regularly, and that's what kept me from installing these, at least on the rest of the gutters at his house. But my plan was, if they worked, I would use them for mine. But cleaning the muck off too often, I decided they're just not worthy of installing on the rest of his gutters, nor at my house. But I was still curious, after 5 years, what condition would this be in? Because I've heard the horror stories we all have, but look at this. They're still kind of supple, kind of foamy. Not at all what I was anticipating. And look below, the actual gutters are clean, so they kind of do their job. But I'm convinced I can find something even better and worthy of new gutters, because Dad's not only getting new gutters, I'm getting new gutters. Well, as a matter of fact, I got my new gutters a week before he got his. And oh, did I need them, because mine were arguably even worse. I had vinyl gutters. Purchased them from Home Depot. Probably better than nothing, but I have not been a fan of the vinyl gutters I had on my house. First, back when I bought them, they were 4.5 inch, not 5. And even on my small roof, a moderate rain would easily overflow them. On top of that, they leaked at pretty much every seam after just the first few months. And that's not even factoring in the cost, because these may at first look like a cheap alternative, and that's how I got roped in. But trust me, after buying all the accessories, heck, the downspouts alone, they're double the price of a gutter section. And all those hangers and the connectors, you need a lot of stuff. It all adds up to be almost as much as a professionally installed seamless aluminum gutter system. Which, lesson learned, that's what I'm going with now. A professionally installed seamless aluminum gutter system. I let off with Dad's gutters, but as I said, mine were actually installed 1 week before his. So in a way, I guess unknowingly, I was his guinea pig. My house, it also has many trees around it, far less than it used to, but still enough to put this many leaves in an open gutter overnight. Even after a light rain and me cleaning them out the very next day, they're filling back up again. And by the way, that raised shingle, that was a present left by the roof installers. Good thing I saw this. Leaf accumulation, I've lived here long enough to know what it's like, so I had already started shopping for gutter guards before I even got the gutters. And the quotes were crazy. My gutters were $975. The cheapest gutter guard quote, $675. The most expensive, over $3,000. But that $675 quote, they showed me the brand that they used, and I looked up trying to do my research, and I found that brand on Amazon at a very affordable price. So 2 days later, I had new gutter guards installed. After seeing mine, Dad placed an order for his upcoming new gutters. And here they are, A-M gutter guards. I don't know if it's A-M or AM. I'm just going to say AM. They're full aluminum gutter guards made in the USA. I'm always happy to see that. 6 inches, because that's the gutters we both went with. On his house, justifiable. On mine, a bit overkill, but I knew I wanted gutter guards, and after the vinyl gutter fiasco, I wanted something that could capture as much water as my roof could ever possibly shed. Price for these AM gutter guards, $164.99, for more than enough to do my roof. That's $500 cheaper than the quote professionally installed guards that were the exact same thing. Alright, so that's how I got here. Now to the actual review. AM gutter guards, do they work, and what do I think about them after 6 months? What's my experience? First, let me start off with my expectations. I expect gutter guards to flow freely, even in the most torrential downpours, meaning no water overflowing the front of the gutter. It's a simple ask, but that's what I need. I expect them to shed leaves to some degree. Put an asterisk there because I'll be coming back to it. And what I mean here is I just don't want to be up on the roof every week cleaning leaves out of gutters or off the gutter guards since I'm installing those. And somewhat related but a different season, they need to flow water freely even in the spring when the woolly worms fall from the trees. They can be as, if not more, clogging than leaves, especially in North Alabama. I also expect the system to be super easy to install, so simple that even an idiot like me can do it, and install it without having to buy a bunch of specialty tools. And I know I'm good on that point because these AM gutter guards, they're just strips of aluminum, thick aluminum, but no problem for the tin snips that I already have. That's the most specialty of the tools, and even if I didn't have tin snips, they're like $5 from Harbor Freight for a cheap set. The only other tools needed is a drill, even that's optional, a 1/4 inch driver socket, some pliers for manipulating any bent aluminum, a small hook pick, also optional. I use it for securing an extra screw on overlapping sections. And as far as screws go, these are not included. You're going to need number 8 gutter screws. Instructions recommend 1/2 inch, but I've seen plenty of people use 3/8. I'm using both. 1/2 inch to install the guard to the gutter, and 3/8 for the overlapping sections, just an extra screw to help make things more firm. By the way, I'm not going to be showing you how to install these in this video because AM has a very good, very short video showing how to install the system. It's super simple, so simple that for my house, having never done this before, it took an hour tops. And here it is, my new and perfectly installed gutter guard system that rivals the guards costing upwards of $3,000. That was my max quote. This is the exact same install for the $675 quote, but it only cost me $165. For Dad's house that takes almost double the guards it took for mine, I completed in barely over 2 hours. Most of that time was spent climbing up and down the ladder because his roof is way off the ground. So it took more time for climbing than actually installing and screwing in the gutter guards and trimming the little bit that needs to be trimmed, which is just the last piece on each run. Super easy, and at this point, fingers crossed that they work or else they're going to be coming down. And that gets me to the 6 months point. First and foremost, how do these do in the rain? Well, they flow quite well, even in a total deluge. I don't have any good footage here, but we've had tornado-driven storms that put out inches of rain, like 3 to 5 inches overnight. Never a single problem with overflow. These absorb all the water that can come off my roof or my father's roof. Even when there are wet leaves piled on top of the guards, you can see in this rain, they drain perfectly in every rain. They drain perfectly, leaves or not. Speaking of leaves, now remember that asterisk I told you to keep in your mind about my expectation for shedding, quote, most leaves. Now, I'm realistic. I know that marketing aside, there's only so much moving a wet leaf laying on a flattish surface is going to do. I'll come back to that, but first, shedding dry leaves, which these gutter guards do quite well. Any light breeze blows them right off. Here's 1 day's worth of accumulated leaves inside an uncovered gutter. Here's with the gutter guard, a same day and the same amount of leaves coming down. They are well designed, so air can flow through and up and pull leaves off the roof or off the gutter guards. They're clean most of the time when it's dry. Wet leaves will accumulate. They adhere to things when wet. Have you ever seen a leaf-covered roof? Wet leaves, if they won't shed off a slanted roof, they're not easily going to move off a gutter guard. There are 2 important factors I want to share here. We've already established that guards can flow water even with mounded wet leaves. However, given enough time, they will dry and most of them will blow right off. But if you're like me and you don't like that look, you want to kind of rush things, keep the guards nice and shiny, in that case, these guards turn what used to be a nightmare. A wet blowback and me literally on my knees on a roof manually digging into the gutters, regularly I might add. This is now how easy the leaves come off the top of AM gutters. And this is with the cheapest little 90-mile-per-hour Craftsman blower. This is designed for blowing off sidewalks. This blower, I know from experience, is not capable of blowing leaves out of the old gutters, especially wet ones, but even dry ones it would struggle. With these guards, they blow right off, and again, wind will do most of it if you just wait long enough. Here's my roof wind blown. Now, my house does have an advantageous angle when it comes to wind. Nature does most of the work for me, and that's what I want. That said, I have no problem with an end of the fall final roof clear or an end of the spring woolly worm clear. But I want that to be an option, not a requirement like it used to be. And that's the advantage these gutter guards give me. Given enough time and dry weather, they'll shed the leaves naturally. I've said woolly worms a few times, and I don't know if that's a universal term or a southern thing, so this is what I'm talking about. Trees shed these in the early spring, and they literally blanket everything. I would have to scrape them off those foam guards. I was curious how these gutter guards with the round holes would handle these. Woolly worms do build up, but not like I thought they would. We're practically done with woolly worm season, and this is all that's left on the gutter guards. I haven't been up on either of these roofs in months, and I could blow these off, or I could just leave them, let them degrade, and or the spring winds take care of them. Even at Dad's, with his encirclement of trees, there's no more woolly worms than are left on my guards, proof that they are shedding them. In a nutshell, these AM gutter guards have not only met my expectations, they've exceeded my expectations. The fact that they were so affordable versus the other solutions that I was pricing and easy to install with the most basic of tools, it would be safe to say that I am a happy customer. Is there a better system out there? Well, for the money and for a DIYer like myself that looks for bargains, I would say these are probably very hard to beat. And I have no plans on replacing them. I expect them to be on for the life of these gutters. That's my 6 months with AM gutter guards. I'll put a link down in the description if you want to take a look at them. And let me know, do you use gutter guards? Do you have opinions on gutter guards? They seem to be a very polarizing topic. Let me hear what you have to say. Thanks for watching and have a great day.